Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the GOAT Picks, and I give you the best picks and the best predictions. This Saturday, UFC Fight Night, Adesanya versus Pyfer, Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. We're going to go over the main card. Subscribe and like, guys. For the first fight of the night, we got Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. Terrence McKinney, whenever he fights, this guy, it's fireworks. It's always either he gets finished or he finishes his opponent. I was thinking a lot about this fight. I was thinking, okay, Terrence McKinney, he's going to give it all as the first round, and I think Kyle Nelson was going to weather the storm, and Kyle Nelson would just win in round 2 or round 3 and get the decision. But I've been watching videos and seeing Terrence on there, and I think he's going to take this fight a lot more slower and choose his shots, and he'll still get the finish. But give me Terrence McKinney. I think he's going to get the job done. I think he's going to be a lot more smarter, control his cardio, not give it all out in the first round. I think definitely round 1 or round 2 finish. But give me Terrence McKinney. That's where Abdul Malik versus Yusri Belgario. Let me just say this, Mansour, he's got a draw with Cody Brundage. He's still a good fighter, but again, he has a draw with Cody Brundage, so I don't really see him beating Yusri. The only way he could win this fight, is he makes it dirty, he gets a lot of takedowns, he grapples, and just wins out of decision. But Yusri, he's 6'6". He's fought Israel Adesanya, he's fought Alex Pereira in kickboxing. He's even training with Alex Pereira. He's even trained with Strickland. I think when you train with the top tier guys like that, you're going to just become top tier. I still think this guy has a lot to learn, but I think every fight he is improving. So give me the 6'6" Yusri Belgarian, and he's an underdog, so give me him to win. Julian Erosa versus Larian Douglas. Julian Erosa, he's been knocked out. If you look at all of his fights, he's been at least knocked out 6 to 7 times. Larian Douglas, he is a new fighter to the UFC. He's on a 5 KO streak right now. So connect the two. I think Larian Douglas is going to KO Julian Erosa, and he's going to be 6-0. Erosa keeps his hands down, and I think Larian's just going to swing the overright and KO Julian Erosa. So give me Larian Douglas with the finish. Michael Chezzy versus Nico Price. Now, Nico Price, he's an entertaining fighter. He's always throwing wild, crazy shots, never gives up, very spontaneous with the fighting. You never know what he's going to throw. But you got to feel bad for the guy. He just came off a knockout loss. The fight before that, he's gotten brutally beat and lost. The guy has like 25 kids. He just needs to retire. He had a good run. He needs to become a family man. I just don't see him, beating Michael Chezzy either. Michael Chezzy, I think he's just, luckily for Nico Price, Michael Chezzy doesn't really have any KO power. So I think this is just going to be a grappling match, and it's going to be, every round Chezzy getting him to the ground, and if he doesn't submit him in the round 1 or 2 or 3, he's just going to get the decision. So give me Michael Chezzy.
Don't you ever talk about my mom.
Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. So this is their second fight. The first fight, I want to say Alexa Grasso won. She was more in her prime against Macy Barber. Macy Barber was still young and upcoming and learning. But Alexa Grasso, she's already, had her run to the title. And I think it's really hard when you've already had your run to the title to try to go back a second time and have another run. It's hard to get that discipline and hunger and to be great twice. I think Macy Barber, she's hungrier and she wants this revenge. So give me Macy Barber to win the second fight with Alex Grasso. So give me Macy Barber.
Big shots landing. The future is there.
Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. Now, Joe Pyfer, you know, this guy, he's young, he's hungry. He hits harder than Francis Ngannou from what I'm hearing. He's a great grappler, but he just has heavy hands. He hits like a truck. Israel Adesanya, now, he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He's lost to Alex Pereira, he's lost to DDP, he's lost to Nazar Imavov, and he's lost to Sean Strickland. But all those guys are, you know, top tier. They're top 5 in his weight class. And to be honest, I think everyone's sleeping on Israel Adesanya. Everyone thinks he needs to retire. He just doesn't have it anymore. They think Joe Pyfer is going to KO Israel Adesanya. I think this is a huge step down for Israel Adesanya. And I think he's just going to school Joe Pyfer. I think he's going to strike his legs. He's going to keep the distance. He's just going to outclass him and show Joe Pyfer that there's levels to this. Now, the only way Israel Adesanya loses is if Joe Pyfer wrestles him, you know, gets some ground and pound, pretty much does what Jan Blachowicz did to him back then when Israel moved up a weight class. But I think Izzy's going to be able to, you know, get out of the wrestling, get out of the takedown, keep the distance, strike him apart, and get some good shots on Joe Pyfer. So give me Israel Adesanya to win and to upset the whole world again, because everyone thinks he needs to retire. So give me Israel Adesanya, the style bender.
He's the undisputed king of the middleweights.
And that's it, guys. Like and subscribe, and hopefully we go 6-0 this week. Thank you.